All we need for this project is some cord, 2 beads for every stitch marker you plan to make, and scissors. I'm using waxed cotton cord, but you can use leather cord, polyester cord, even mercerized cotton yarn. Anything will do, as long as the cord is thin enough to fit into the bead that you plan to use. When it comes to beads, use any beads you like. Just stay away from the beads with spikes or unusual shaping that could potentially snag the yarn. So now that we've got our supplies ready, let's get started. First, measure a piece of cord that is about 30 centimeters, that's 12 inches long. I usually don't use a ruler. What I do, I use the measurement between my index finger and thumb, and I cut a piece of cord that is about 1.5 of that distance. So I would measure it this way, and then about half of that length, and I would cut it about here. It doesn't have to be the exact measurement because we're gonna trim the cord afterwards anyways. So find the spot that is about 2/3 of the length of this piece of cord, and then make a loop with the longer piece of cord on top of the shorter piece of cord. And then pass the longer piece of cord through this loop. So you guessed it already, we're making a slip knot, right? At this point, if you're using a flat cord, like a ribbon yarn, for example, then untwist the yarn so that the knot is nice and smooth. And then pull the knot to make a slip knot. Now we have to make the stitch marker the right size so that it fits most needle sizes. To do that, place this loop on your index finger, and then pull one of the legs to make sure that it kind of snugly fits your finger. Then ease your finger out, and now we're gonna do the best part of this process. We're gonna add beads. How do we do that? Place your thumb underneath the slip knot, and then make an overhand knot on one of the legs, so to say, of the stitch marker. Just a simple overhand knot. Nothing complicated. And pull this knot tight, but make sure the distance between the slip knot and this knot is about a thumb width. Just like this. Again, if the yarn is flat, the cord is flat, then rearrange it and twist it so that the knot looks nice. And pull it tight. Now take a bead. I'm going to use these metal ones. And insert the leg of the stitch marker into the bead. If you find that the tip of the cord frays, then dip it into white glue and then rub it between your fingers to make it thin and let it dry, and then it would be kind of like a wool needle. So it will be easier to thread the bead onto the cord. And now make another overhand knot underneath the bead. Again, make the knot nice and pull it up so that it holds the bead. I think my knot is a bit too far away, so I'm gonna loosen it a bit and bring it closer to the bead. Just like this. Okay, pull it tight and then trim the excess cord. Pretty close to the knot. I usually leave a tiny bit tail, but not a long one. And we'll get rid of this piece. Now let's do the same thing to the other leg, so to say, of this stitch marker. So put your thumb onto that leg underneath the slip knot, make an overhand knot, make it nice, move it closer to your thumb, and pull it tight, and then take the bead, thread the cord into that bead, and make another overhand knot. That's as easy as it gets. Move the knot closer to the bead, pull tight, and trim the cord. Here we go. We've just made a lovely stitch marker that is flexible, that does not snag the yarn. Those beads make it heavier, so it stays there instead of being rotating around the needle, and you can adjust it to any size of the needle. If you're using a smaller size, then place the stitch marker here and then pull the movable, so to say, leg to pull it tight. If you're using a bigger size of the needle, then pull the other leg to make it bigger and place it on a bigger needle like this. And then again, adjust the size, make it smaller but not really too tight. At least I don't like it when it is too tight, but you can make it any way you want because it is fully adjustable. When you make a set, use beads in a different color on one of the markers. This marker will stay at the beginning of the round, while the identical markers will be at the raglan lines or any other important places in your project. To read this tutorial as a set of step-by-step photo instructions, go to 10roseaday.com/make-stitch-markers. To download it as a PDF, join the club at 10roseaday.com/club. If you find this tutorial helpful, click the like button so that it could get suggested to other knitters. That's how the algorithm works, I guess. Thank you for watching this video and have a wonderful week. I'll see you in the next tutorial.